You might remember a couple of weeks ago when Steve and Alex installed the hanging knees, they were waiting on some more bronze rods so they could make just a couple of fin head bolts. That's in, and after a bit of experimentation, Alex and Steve will get those hammered out. Then the finished sills get installed around the housetop, and we'll wait for warmer weather before starting to build up the house sides. Then Alex will clean out the bilge and get ready to make the last of the bronze floors. Thanks for watching, and if you liked today's video, help us out by hitting that like button and double check to make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell next to the subscription button to get notified when another of our weekly videos is ready to watch.
So it's a little warmer day today, which is perfect. We got the sill plates fitting just right for the house. So we brought those inside yesterday and got them sealed and painted. So Steve has been doing that. It just needs one more coat of paint. So they're drying right now. In the meantime, Steve is in there sealing all the deck beams and the carlins for them to mate. And we're gonna paint that with the anti-fouling paint as well. So what I'm doing now, there was a couple fin head bolts that I wasn't able to make for the knees because we ran out of rod. We were just waiting on a shipment to come in. And I had spoken to our friend Med from Shipsquay Forge, which if you remember, Med came down with me to Costa Rica with everybody else and helped Jack and I lead the blacksmithing course. So if you haven't checked out Med at Shipsquay Forge, you definitely should do that. He's got a great Instagram. I had called him to talk about the fin head bolts because I was having a hard time getting the fins to form properly. So he gave me a couple of tips on how to do that. Basically, he said try to heat up the neck a little bit more to start with and upset that first, and then drop it down in my jig and try to compress it to make the fins, and then continue pounding to make the head and form more of the fins. It's just a way that we can do it with the stuff that we have right now. We don't have a lot of the right equipment. We're kind of working on a shoestring budget in terms of that kind of stuff. We're not going to set up a whole forge just to do these. All right, so let's get started. This is just a piece of scrap in here, but I might test it out with that first. I think one of the biggest challenges today is going to be, well, it's really sunny out, so it's going to be really hard to see what color this is, and I can't really move the stump into the garage. So see how this goes. I'm going to clamp it high like this, kind of warm up the neck, and then see if I can upset that, see how that works. Not working like I expected. All right, so I've been trying to make these fin head bolts and they're not really coming out by myself. So Steve walked over and grabbed the hammer while I was torching it, and we can keep it hotter while we're hitting it. And we realized that that really works well. And considering Steve has grown up on the farm, he's got that power hammer arm. So I'm gonna heat this up while he pounds. We're gonna upset the tip, put it in there, and see if we can form a fin head.
There we go, lesson learned.
Yep.
So that was too warm. See how it got all brittle? That's what happens with bronze. It goes from like putty, workable, really nice, to just like...
All right, well, let's grab another one, I guess.
Yeah, we can cut this off and use it for something else, not a biggie. I think maybe upsetting it like that. Because then I can get it just like, I just wanted to go a little bit more, and then we could clamp it in there, heat that up, and really start to form those fins. I think upsetting it this way in the middle, it's just gonna like...
It just keeps bending over.
Yeah, I don't have really any control. But I think if we do this, I can, and maybe actually on here.
Yeah. I think if we actually had like blacksmithing tools and like an anvil where we could, like one of those upsetting dies, we could probably do it, but I don't think it's really working on this.
No, and maybe I'll switch to a lighter hammer, because I'm really not hitting that very hard.
Yeah.
Alright, let's try chucking that. This is upset pretty good. Yeah. Okay, double fist them. So now you're going to heat up the base, and I just want to like smush it down in there, right?
We're sliding a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's about to catch up though. Yep. Around the base and on the ends as much as you can. I'll give it a couple more whacks. See if that did anything. It's sort of working.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I mean, that'll definitely fetch up in there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this one right here and that right there. But I think we do need to grow it out a little bit more instead of just flat.
Cool. That'll work.
Yeah, that one will definitely work.
Sweet. need you to work your magic.
Yeah, these things shrunk quite a bit.
Yeah. And then they're gonna go near the ocean and they're gonna swell quite a bit.
Yes. Figure out what. I want to make sure I hit the screw holes. As long as we hit the screw holes, we'll be fine.
Yeah, oh yeah, the screws will finish it up if it's not totally perfect.
Yeah.
These bruisers have some pull behind them.
Yeah. But also, if they're back where they were, once they swell, they will fit like I had them before.
Yeah, they'll probably fit tighter than you had them before someday.
Yes. Well, that looks pretty decent.
You're gonna start pulling it over, I'll hold it up so you don't just scrape all the dolphin away.
This is definitely a very different challenge with the dolphinite in there.
So how many people do you think have been missing watching the dolphinite be spread?
A lot of people miss their peanut butter.
Let's stay up on its own, huh?
Oh, it's the pad cracking. Trying to squeeze some more of this dolphinite out so it sits better. Batteries go fast on these little buggers.
Yeah, they do not like the cold. I feel like there's like 4 months a year that the GoPro batteries and the GoPros are okay with it. In the summer, they get too hot and overheat, and in the winter, the batteries don't last.
You too? Fine. Looks like winter has finally decided to join us this year. It seems like every year it is weirder and later. We haven't had much snow at all this year until now. And yesterday we got maybe like 2 to 4 inches of some sort of powder. The boathouse roof just sheds it right off. It's been great. It's working really, really fantastically. So we'll be working in here today. As you can probably hear, the wolf is howling outside. A little lonely in the snow by himself. So Steve and I got the sill all mounted. It's all screwed down. We got the house sides back up. And remember, this is just a mock-up. This is not the final rendition. We're just trying to have something in place so that we can kind of get our minds wrapped around it and decide what we want. So I'm going to pound in those fin heads that we did the other day, lock those knees in tight, and then I will move on to cleaning out the inside of the hull.
I can hear you, but I can't see you. How's it going?
It's going. They were a pain to pound in, man. They were tight.
Well, at least they won't spin.
They're not going anywhere, that's for sure. So I'm going to start working on probably bending the wings for the bronze floors that we need to do. So if you remember, we did the first round of bending, but all of the molds were in the way. So when Steve did the second round of bending, there are all of those to fill in. So there's probably, I'm not really sure, something like maybe 6 more floors to go in that we need to do. Well, the bilge is clean, so I guess I'm ready to start working on the floors. So the next step is to measure out the distances I need for the wings. And then I'll cut everything I need, and then I'll come back in here and put down a board and get our bending machine down in here, and I can start bending the wings and get those done. We've got a fun little trip that we are planning on that we've been trying to get to this winter because we haven't been able to all go out and play together in the snow. So we are going to take a couple of days over the weekend and make it a long weekend in a couple of weeks and go up to the White Mountains in New Hampshire and ski in somewhere and spend a couple of days in the backcountry. So Kira and I and Steve and Robin are going to go up together, which is going to be really fun to all be able to go out together and do something. Steve is off picking up a great gift that someone offered us. We had somebody email us to let us know that they wanted to support in a different way, and they had suggested some sort of CSA. So either like a monthly like chowder soup thing, but we have a couple dietary restrictions. Steve is allergic to hot peppers. So she had suggested doing a meat share, which we love that idea. The idea that we can go to somebody local, a butcher, and he can give us a bunch of weird cuts of meat, which we will definitely use, and have that every once in a while. And I think it's just a perfect way to support the project, all the while supporting local businesses. So I'm not going to name the name right off out here because I'm not sure how she feels about that, but thank you so very much for that. It was such a thoughtful way to support the project, and we really, really appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us today, and all the support you all give us by subscribing to and liking the videos. Next week, Alex and Steve will finish up the last of the bronze floors, and Steve will get started on the pieces for the mast step. So we hope you enjoyed it today, and we'll catch you again next week.